Getting feedback on your art is incredibly important. And the hard thing I'm going to say is it may not always be possible for certain people because more often than not, you're going to have to pay someone else money. Uh, I mean, I think it's worth it, but sometimes it may be difficult in certain trying times to get that or to even have that money in the first place. So, asking for free critiques can be a bit of a challenging thing for some people, and a lot of people may not want to do it. And the other thing is consistency between feedbacks, because sometimes you may get a feedback from one person that says this is good, someone else may say this is terrible, someone else may say work on this, and I feel like feedbacks that are kind of like in the middle ground are the best. The other thing is you want to kind of have a bit of a thick skin with accepting criticism, and to not really be hurt all that much by it because you are learning and you have a lot of failures ahead of you. But just know that all of those failures matter to get to a success. So it is worth it, but just have that in mind that you need to kind of build up a tolerance that you are going to screw up. But whenever you go to a drawing, don't worry about screwing up. Like, try to do it the correct way, but don't get the fear of failure too hard in the back of your head. More often than not, when we think of failure, we think of the school system, in which it's not always so. It doesn't really. Failure is usually not an option in certain places of the world. But failure should be something more to not to be stressed about, but something that you can correct with practice. But if you're in the work world doesn't tolerate doesn't like to tolerate failures, and it's a bit difficult to deal with it. It could be extremely taxing and unforgivable, and some more often than not, like you're not failing on purpose. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, you wouldn't do it on purpose. You're trying to learn, and it's a part of the learning process. So you kind of have to just be aware of it rather than scared by it. I feel like, especially the working world, that could be a matter of whether you eat or not in our day and age. And I've realized that some places will hold that over certain people's heads to an abusive standpoint. And it's always important to leave those places whenever you can and not stay in those types. But the other thing is art feedback. I'm not sure how much it would cost, but there are various ways you can do it. But I would also remain consistently with the person who gave you the feedback in the first place. That is a good way that I would go with it. If I would also say the other important thing is getting feedback in the first place, because sometimes you may not be happy with your work, or you may do it, come back to it, and you may not be happy again. I think it can be beneficial to do more grinding before maybe showing someone else your work, like because you want it to be up to par. But don't do it for too long, because if you do it for too long, there's a chance that you're incorporating mistakes into your skill set. And yes, that can be unlearned, but you do have to be aware that if you would have gotten feedback, you would have been able to correct that mistake faster, and you would have been able to get that habit out of you and a good one in you. So that's what I mean when I'm saying the ever-changing goalpost. Because sometimes you may be hesitant to getting any feedback because you're like, oh, it's not good enough yet. I just need to do it more and more and more. And then what happens is days pass, weeks pass, months pass, years pass, and you don't want to be stuck drawing the exact same thing over and over again. You want to be expanding to the best of your ability. So it's that's important to keep in your mind and to be aware of it. It would kind of be equivalent to like playing a Mario game, and like right before you're about to reach the flagpole, it goes out even further, and you're like, wait a minute, I think I had enough of this level. This shit should end now. It's like it keeps going out further and further and further, and I think there are some levels that actually take advantage of that as like a joke, and you have to race to the flagpole to finish it. But the point I'm trying to say here is that you shouldn't always be afraid, because sometimes your work is not going to be the best, but by getting critique and feedback, you'll be able to properly structure your study and your exercise and become a better artist. So if you do have a question, please ask below, or you could email me if you would feel more comfortable doing that. If you like my video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. But yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.